Right, hello everyone, it's silverkyle, and today we are going to be taking a look at everything that I picked up in the month of January 2022. Starting off with, there was a ton of omnibus that were originally supposed to come out this month that I had on pre-order. I had 6 on pre-order, but 3 of them actually got postponed. So I only ended up getting 3 omnibus for this month, which was fine with me because I was like, ooh, six is going to hurt the wallet quite a bit. And then there was one compendium that was supposed to come out in December that I think some people did get, but mine was delayed until January, so I ended up getting that here, and some video games as well, which is what we are going to start with. So, Pokemon Legends Archaeos, not really sure how to pronounce that, but this is a breath of fresh air for the Pokemon series, and what I feel the series has needed for probably more than a decade at this point in time. I feel like every Pokemon game, while I do enjoy them, are very much the same thing with different, there's some subtle differences here and there, but this is, I've been it's it very much feels like an open world Breath of the Wild type of game set in the Pokemon world. And I think some people don't necessarily like that because it's not Breath of the Wild. It isn't, but it has some similarities where it's what Breath of the Wild did for the Zelda series. Pokemon Arceus is that for the Pokemon series. So that's the way I see it. There's no gyms, there's no so you can't get gym badges. You get stars, I think, or it might be badges still, but you get them as you catch Pokemon, because that's the point of the game, is catching as many Pokemon and creating the Pokedex. And there's not a lot of emphasis on battles really that much at all. You actually level up the more Pokemon that you catch and the same ones that you catch. So it's a little bit like Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu or Eevee. That's the kind of, they're kind of combining a few things here and there, and then just making something completely different as well. Very much enjoying this game. I might do a review or impressions. I've only had it for the weekend, and I'm already 14 hours in, which is usually rare for me for a single player game to dive into it that much. But I'm really enjoying this one. Next up, I ended up getting, this was delayed a little bit, but when I bought a bunch of Xbox 360 games, which are actually just behind me over here, this was another one that I wanted, as Infinite Undiscovery. Back when the Xbox 360 and Microsoft was really trying to get a bunch of JRPGs, this was one of the exclusives for the console, so I really wanted to pick this up. I think it's like 2 discs as well. Yeah, 2 discs. Manuals, remember these? Man, like, look how thick this manual is. I just want to quickly, it's like 32 pages in color. That's nuts. That's so cool. Towns and villages, shopping, party, your status, the menu, skills, surprising the enemy. It has, like, I miss those days. I don't think we need a 32-page manual anymore. I really don't think that. But, a few pages, show the characters, show maybe some of the basic mechanics or something like that. I'm happy. Not every game. Like a Call of Duty does not need a manual. What maybe 1 page for the controller buttons, and honestly, that game you don't really. But RPGs, those kinds of games where they're really story driven, I feel like those ones you could. Another one that I'm very happy to have is the Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 2, which is I think they have 4 of the Cold Steel series right now, and Legend of Heroes is a big series that kind of has quite a few that are kind of going to be joining together in a big storyline. Like, all of these follow quite a bit in previous games in the series as well. Trails in the Sky, and I think we're getting Trails Zero, Trails of Zero or whatever, and Trails of Arc something. I can't remember what the other one is, but there's a bunch of games that are coming out this year and next year, and then we're going to have like another one that kind of combines the Trails of Cold Steel, which has 4 in the series, and the Trails in the Sky trilogy together, and we're going to get all of that. And I'm talking way too much, but there's a bunch of games in the series. I'm just happy that I got this, because this generally goes for about like $200 or something like that. Like, it would normally be $80 here retail, and it's gone up in price about $200. And I was able to pick this up on eBay on a auction, and I went in at the last second and I bought it. I had started the bidding, and one guy beat me, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna wait 5 days. I specifically put an alarm, and I went in at the last 5 minutes, and I picked it up at the last 30 seconds or something like that for a reasonable price. I think it was like $130 for this game. So I'm really looking forward to diving into it. I have the the first one already. So, but I have to play Trails in the Sky first, then Zero, which is coming out this year on the PlayStation 4. And then I think next year we get Trails of Azure or something. It starts with AZ, I think. And then we have Trails of Cold Steel 1, 2, 3, 4, which is already all out. And then we get another one that combines all of them together. So much explaining, but to say that I'm very happy I picked this up for still $50 over retail. But I don't think that it would go any lower than that. All right, so now we can get into the comics. So I got the Spawn Compendium Volume 2. I've heard rumors now that so this is a compendium which is regular standard size. It's the size of a regular trade paperback, just a lot thicker, obviously. Not hardcover. It's like a regular trade paperback. But I've heard that they are considering maybe making like an omnibus format, like an oversized hardcover, either going back to the deluxe editions that I think that they had before and maybe reprinting those, which kind of makes me sad because like I thought that this was going to be one of the only ways to read Spawn at the moment. And at the moment it is, unless you want to go back and pay the deluxe editions. But if we're getting to deluxe editions in the near future, I might want to hold off. It's first world problems for a collector. All right, let's get into the omnibus. So I ended up getting the X-Men Volume 1, which is the original run, which was a whale for such a long time. This is the Alex Ross cover. Alex Ross, I'm hot and cold with. I actually kind of like this. I still would prefer the original. Like I think it's the direct market, which would be this, because it just goes along, right? It's Silver Age. It does not look. This doesn't look like Silver. This doesn't look like I'm about to open up a Silver Age book. It's a very minor complaint. I would like this as an extra though, and I think it might be an actual extra. And it's at the very back. Like that's kind of cool. That's a nice extra. But not super enthused to jump into this because I've heard that it's not the greatest. Like Volume 1 and Volume 2 of the original series isn't the hottest stuff. I'm still going to try to give it a shot, but I can't wait to finish that and get into the Uncanny and the Claremont era. Next up, we have Batman No Man's Land Omnibus Volume 1. We had gotten the Road to No Man's Land. Was it last? I think it's 2 years ago now. I think that came out in technically 2 years ago. 2020. We're now in 2022. And it looks like we are going to be getting a Volume 2 for this as well. And we also got another DC book this month that I'm interested in. So DC normally doesn't have as many omnibus coming out as Marvel does, and then depending on what I'm interested in, but we ended up getting Batman, which I pretty much always pick up, and also Flash Volume 3 by Jeff Johns, and I absolutely love Jeff Johns, so I had to pick this up. And this one is like, if you have Volume 1 and 2, and you have Blackest Night, and you have Flashpoint, and you have, what's the other, a Final Crisis, then you're really only getting this for a few issues of Flash. So it depends on if you're a completionist, then maybe pick it up. And if you really like Jeff Johns and the Flash, it's definitely worth picking up. But you really have to look at what's included in here, because there is a lot of double dipping with Flashpoint, with the issues that are from Blackest Night, if you have that omnibus already. Same thing with Final Crisis. So just bear that in mind, but I felt like I had to have it because I just love Jeff Johns so much that I wanted to have everything, because it does still offer some additional Flash comics in here. And I've looked at the art of this, and it's just, it's gorgeous. Really, really looking forward to it. So that is everything that I picked up in the month of January 2022. Let me know in the comments below what you ended up picking up, and we will see you all very shortly. So thank you all for watching. You have been bearded in. Beardage.